All right, so shall we move on to very quickly talking about the the main WWE news this week?
Yes. Okay.
Unfortunate WWE news this week.
So
Literally happened yesterday.
So Zelina Vega. From what I know about this, she posted a Twitter status advocating for unionization in wrestling, and then before you know it, she's released from
She's gone.
WWE.
It's madness, isn't it?
It
It's,
is yeah.
the fact in a contact. I mean, I'm going to use the word sport for these purposes, but a contact sport where you can actually hurt each other badly. There's no union. That just seems insane.
Exactly.
To me.
And like I've seen people post on Twitter like saying, "Oh, you sign up for the contract. Why do you need a union? Because you signed up for it." Blah blah blah. I don't think people understand the main reason for having a union is to make sure that things are followed as to the book as possible.
To protect the welfare of your town.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So with that, there can be that healthcare and stuff provided, the traveling, because at the moment, it's really difficult in terms of them for traveling and stuff like that. And get rid of that stupid etiquette which says that you're not allowed to sleep.
They have to all travel, arrange their own travel, get to the venue themselves. It's not provided for them. They have to. So on top of the travel expenses, they have to get food for themselves.
Yeah, it's like,
and
I think it's. I just think like that travel thing. I remember. Did I say that there was an etiquette in a previous podcast that you can't, if you're not the driver, you're not allowed to fall asleep, and I say fuck that. Because they get like 5 hours of sleep a night anyway. I just saw
a Ryback's tweet on that page that you
let me share it.
It's not like he's going to come back to WWE anytime soon. To be fair,
yeah, of course.
But speaking of Ryback, I actually I listened to and this is kind of ties into it. I listened to the the CM Punk podcast he did with Colt Cabana. Yeah, that infamous podcast, Just Over Here. I've listened to it so many times, and every single time it's so entertaining to listen to.
Yeah.
And he talks about wrestlers needing a union as well.
Oh, yeah.
In that very podcast. And this was what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he first left? No, even longer than that. He was like 2000, so it would have been like 5 years ago, probably.
Thing is, if you're like in a battle for your job against management, and you're worried about how the rest of your career is going to pan out and stuff like that, a union is going to be very, very helpful in that scenario. So, you signed a contract, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not just about what's on the contract. It's about the longevity of your career as a wrestler, because, you've seen people, their careers just absolute ended. Like, what's the Hayabusa, was it, that his career ended after that whole botched lion salt?
Yeah.
And there was another one who bashed his skull on the canvas.
Oh, loads of people have broken their necks. Lionheart broke his neck in Styles Clash. Yoshitatsu broke his neck in Styles Clash.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put anything on AJ Styles, but the point I'm trying to make is wrestlers get hurt.
But the thing is, as well, without the union, the wrestlers themselves are the ones who are blamed, when it's essentially like no responsibility taken from the management or anything like that. It's solely on the wrestlers. Like, not saying that they don't have a part to play, but at the same time, you employ these people.
Maybe what muddles it a bit is that some of them are independent contractors.
Yeah,
like CM Punk was. Maybe that's the thing that kind of muddles the whole thing, and why they're reluctant to unionize.
Well,
potentially, I'm just throwing it out there, But like, it's just a shame that Vince can't see that these, and we went on about it a few podcasts ago, but that wrestlers, they can't be on Twitch, or they can't be doing extracurricular activities. It's
boggling,
nonsense,
isn't it? The problem with Vince is that he's done things his way for so long, and he's not used to change. And to be good businessman, as CM Punk said, a millionaire who should have been a billionaire. That you got to embrace that sort of change. You got to embrace new technology. That's why, as you said last time, he believes tout still exists.
Well, it well, it all goes back to the DMCA thing as well, kind of, because like obviously DMCA have cracked down a fair bit this week on Twitch, and I just, obviously we talked about Herman Lee and whatever, but it turns out he might have been taken off Twitch for another reason. But the point still stands is that DMCA is an antiquated law. It's from 20 plus years ago, and it hasn't taken into account streaming or anything like that. There was a tweet from Psycho Stick calling for. It's a very good one, actually. I actually retweeted it on my profile on Twitter. So if you want to have a look at that, then go ahead. But essentially, it was kind of along the lines of since this takedown drama started happening, I believe there's a simple solution to the problem that terrestrial radio stations have been abiding by since music became an industry. Bars, venues, and radio stations all have to pay royalties to label artists for playing copyright recordings. These payments typically go to BMI or ASCAP, both of which exist to make sure the artists and labels are being fairly compensated for the use of their music. Furthermore, other internet-based royalty collection services have crept up, such as Sound Exchange. My suggestion is that Twitch as a whole look into royalty collection services for streamers.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, in that relation to us, for example, I know I mentioned that I've been appealing some of like the music reactions we got on YouTube and stuff like that. And a lot of them, they've said, yeah, they've released a claim, they've agreed that it's not, it shouldn't be ID claim and stuff. The only company that is reluctant to do it and said the claim still stands is one called Believe Music, and they're the ones that own Nuclear Blast Records, who own Sharp Tone and, like Amaranth, which we reacted to, Currents. So yeah, it's a bit bad in that sense. Like, fair use is fair use, but it's, this is the whole reason why when we say like we've got to make sure that we talk in our reactions, this is why, because if we don't and we just show you the song, it'll get taken down. It will.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're either gonna sit there and listen to the song and the reaction, or you're going to go off and listen to the actual song if you really just want to hear the song. So just do that instead of commenting.
There's nothing that irritates me more than clicking on one of those react videos on YouTube and they're just sitting there in silence, just got like, eating Doritos or whatever.
That's not even a reaction. That's just I don't know. I'm having a mental piss. Be right back.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's the whole reason why we add commentary to it, because it is a reaction.
Yeah. So back to the wrestling anyway. We've got some of the tweets here. I haven't forgotten about Vince McMahon. Humanity first is the motto and applies to all we stand for. This kind of reminds me of like the whole speaking up for women in wrestling and stuff, like ages ago, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, women's revolution.
And then Maria Kanellis Bennett says, how about a signed affidavit of the company culture and the moral deficiencies within WWE? I'm literally putting this out there so others have the confidence to come forward. That's the thing. People don't really... Sorry, before you continue, I was just saying... People don't really... I feel like people don't speak out in case they either get fined or they get the sack. That's pretty much what it is.
Or they people, or wrestlers, I find them diplomatic a lot because they want to go back to WWE at some point. Whereas so many have just burnt their bridges with that company. And I think it's such a big open secret as to how WWE treats their talent now.
Exactly. I mean, it's just... It shouldn't have to be that way. And, it seems like this culture... This backstage politics culture that I see in these companies, if that happened over here or anything like that, or if I was in a job and that happened, I would be out the door in less than a month. I would not stick around for that, because I know that there are companies that don't behave that way. It's not a normal thing. It is not normal. and people have got to stop acting like it is normal.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and Ryback's was just fuck WWE, which is quite funny.
So Gabrielle Carter says, "Hey, thanks for standing strong for Labour solidarity. I support you. It's people's livelihoods, and I understand that."
Paige disagreeing with that, and notice that she's still got the WWE handle in her name, so she's obviously speaking. I mean, she probably still works for the company.
Yeah, she's got to. It sounds like in that tweet, she's got to be very, very subtle about her tweet. Like, she can't. Well, she can't. She can't really speak up against. It seems like anyone who dares speak up against their own company is getting the sack, and that's like King Charles I ruling Britain.
Oh yeah,
again.
no, Vince is a total it's a totalitarian regime.
Yeah.
No, under Vince McMahon.
It's one of the reasons why I don't watch WWE as much as I used to, because I know.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the whole mindset that I've seen from WWE now is create a massive moment like CM Punk's pipe bomb or whatever, promote it to hell and back on Twitter and other social media sites, then go back to the normal shitty programming that we've been used to. It's always that cycle, and they're obsessed with creating these moments, but they're never obsessed with keeping good consistency, and that is that's why.
Well, it's like supporting Arsenal.
Yeah.
But Murray Man raised a good point. It's like, I suppose that now there is a viable alternative to WWE to go to work for in America. So AEW, people are speaking out more. Makes sense, really.
Yeah, like it's about time people speak out about this. People should have spoken up previously, but better late than never. Like, look at all the times that WWE has either been racist or it's been pretty judgmental to different stereotypes and things like that, and they've gotten away with so much.
It's been appalling, hasn't it?
And it's like the ethic of what they stand for. And fighting for people and stuff, and then I don't want to get into the actual American politics, but it stands that sort of thing. Mike Bennett says this generation of wrestlers won't stand for the bullshit. One man will not make a fortune off our broken backs anymore. What's wrong, Vince McMahon? You feeling the heat from that Biden win? Oh, okay.
Yeah, him and Trump are mates, aren't they?
Yeah, sadly.
Sadly, well, he's in the Hall of Fame. The WWE Hall of Fame, Donald Trump.
I know.
It was, that Mania main event with Bobby Lashley versus Umaga, and Trump was in Bobby Lashley's corner.
And the thing that weirds me out about that is Trump's been racist, he's been sexist, and things like that, but they fire a guy for saying pricks.